Hey guys, happy Sunday. Welcome back to Speaking360. What are we going to be talking about today then? Well, we're going to be looking at the biggest mistake that most speakers make, most new speakers make, how to avoid that biggest mistake as well. So what's the biggest mistake that speakers all over the world, it doesn't matter where you're from, what language you speak, speakers all over the world make this mistake. And we're going to look at how you can avoid that. Now, probably for many of you, you've tried in the past. You've tried developing your speaking and maybe it hasn't worked. You've failed. You've made mistakes. That's okay. That's okay. However you feel about speaking now, that's where you're starting from. It's not a reflection of the truth necessarily. It's just what you believe at this point. And you've been lied to. You've been lied to. Everything you believe about speaking and yourself and other people and communication, for almost all of you, is not true. You've been lied to. But that's okay. You're not alone as well. There's many people that believe the same things. And the people that kind of gave us these myths about the natural speaker, it's not their fault either. They were lied to too. So it's just the situation we're in. It's just where we are. This is where we are, and we've got to move forward from here with whatever beliefs, whatever feelings we have, whatever we have about speaking. And interestingly, actually, it doesn't have to be anyone's fault. We always kind of feel like, well, why? Everything always has to be somebody's fault. Someone's got to be to blame. What about that's just the way things are? We believe what we believe for whatever reason, and we don't care. We're just going to move forward from where we are. We're going to move forward because, we did what we did, well, we believe what we did because it seemed like a good idea at the time. So we can forgive ourselves and we can say, that was then, this is now, I'm going to move forward from here. And it doesn't matter where we're starting from. It doesn't matter where you are. We're going to move forward from wherever that is. We're going to start with whatever beliefs you have, and better beliefs will be found along the way. Remember, beliefs are not a reflection of reality. They're a reflection of a learning process or the result of a learning process. So that was then, this is now. Now, why am I so passionate about this? Well, look at this from the Harvard Business Review. Their conclusion is the number one criteria for advancement and promotion of professionals is the ability to communicate effectively. Look at that. Not, it's a good idea to work on this if you get time. The number one criteria for the advancement and promotion of professionals is the ability to communicate effectively. This is huge. This is really, really important. So that's why we're here every week trying to encourage you to work on your speaking, because it will do more for you than any other skill you can develop. It really will. More for your business, more for your career, more for your self-confidence. Now, I'm not going to try and convince you of this. We don't have time for me to try and convince you of this today. So for today, we're just going to go with you believe this, okay? And we'll come back to this. But I'm imagining now you're saying, okay, I get it. Speaking is good for me. But just because it's good for me, just because it helped me, it doesn't mean that I can do it. That's the next kind of thing, isn't it? Yeah, I'm sure it is good, but yeah, for everyone else, not me. Well, anything that you see anyone else doing, you probably can learn to do too. Anything you see anyone else doing, they've learned to do it. They've learned to get good at it. We're not talking about a reflection of natural talent. We're talking about the result of a learning process. They've moved through a process and they got pretty good at it. Anything you see anyone else doing, you can do too, but here's the catch. If you do what they did to get it. You heard the story about the concert pianist, and afterwards this lady came up to her and said, I'd give anything to play like you. And they said, no, you wouldn't. Otherwise you already would. You'd probably give very little to play like me. Anything except for 7 hours a day, 7 days a week for 20 years. Yeah, anything apart from that. If you did what I've done, then you'd be pretty much at the same standard. Because that's the process, isn't it? So it's good for you. Speaking is good for you. It will really help you. Okay, I get it. Speaking is good for me. Okay, I get it. I can get good at this if I try. And then hopefully you reach the conclusion that, all right, I'll give it a go. I'll do it. And then what's the next thing that then pops up? Well, then what happens is that you make the mistake, the classic mistake that all new speakers make at first. And so this is the pain I want to try and remove you from in advance. See, most people think, I have to impress the audience. It's all about impressing the audience. I want to impress them. I have to do a really great job. I have to impress them. I have to do a great job. They have to like me. And we really put ourselves at the center of all of this. And remember, Speaking360 is about turning that on its head and putting the audience at the center, not us, the speaker, at the center. So we've got to flip this. This doesn't work. I have to impress them. I have to do a great job. They have to like me. This is all about impressing the audience. And it's not actually about impressing the audience. And in fact, when you think about it, that need to impress the audience comes from a place of insecurity. Now, I get it. You want to over-deliver. You really want to help the audience. You want to give them everything you can. And you're kind of thinking, a little bit of imposter syndrome maybe, especially if you're new. Can I actually add value to this audience? And so you're there giving it everything you've got, and you really want to over-deliver. You want to over-deliver so that they think that you're credible and you know what you're talking about. And so it comes from that place of insecurity. It's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's not actually helpful. It doesn't actually work like you think it does. So the need to impress comes from that place of insecurity, and it comes from the goodness in your heart where you really want to help them. But I'm just trying to get you to understand that it doesn't work as well as you think, even though it comes from a very good place in your heart. See, the truth is, impressing doesn't work as well as connecting. We need to connect with the audience. We need to establish rapport with the audience. John Maxwell says that the audience doesn't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You see, there's an order here. They don't care how much you know. You're trying to impress them with how much you know, how great you are. They don't care about that until they know how much you care. So they need that first of all. There's an order to this, and the connection comes first. The rapport comes first. So trust is vitally important. The audience needs to feel like they can trust you. And in order to feel like they can trust you, they need to feel like they're getting to know you, the real you. Mistake that many speakers make is they put up this kind of facade, this speaker facade, their speaker voice, and the audience doesn't feel like they're getting to know the real person, the real speaker behind the words. And this is a problem because then they don't feel like they're getting that trust, because what are they building trust with if it's not the real you? So we have to have that connection with the audience. They need to feel like they're getting to know the real you. This is why I like a conversational delivery works very well, because it feels like it's just you being you. You're just talking to the audience, and they're thinking they're getting to know you, and so that trust is building, that rapport is building, that connection is building. It's simple, really, isn't it, when you think about it like this? So trust is important. It comes from them feeling like they're getting to know you, and that as they get to know you, they like you more and more, hopefully. not the reverse. The more that they get to know you, the less they trust you and the less they like you, because you turn out to be not integrous. That's not it at all, is it? The audience needs to feel like they know, like, and trust you. And the more the relationship develops, the more comfortable they feel. Now, interestingly, when this happens, then they do care how much you know. So initially, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. But when they do know how much you care, then they are interested in how much you know. So we need both. We need the credibility and the connection. Come back to the credibility another day. It's the connection I want to talk about today. And we're going to look at 3 ways to connect with your audience. 3 of the best ways to connect with your audience. Okay, number 1, use humor. Use humor. This is really powerful because the audience initially very often sits back like this in their chair and they're a little bit judgy. And this is not just me, it's you too. And everyone, human beings are a bit judgy. They sit back in the chair and they're like, go on then, tell me something about speaking I don't know. Go on then, tell me something about leadership I don't know. Go on then, funny man, make me laugh. And the last thing they are is open to what's going on. So that's kind of that closed off judginess is what, when we're speaking to people who don't know anything about us, when the relationship is new, that's very often where they are. Les Brown says humor disengages the ego. So what he's saying there is, like, if you can get them to, to have fun, then it disengages that judginess, metaphorically or actually physically. Their arms uncrossed, they lean in a little bit, and now they're somewhat predisposed to the message that you're sharing. So humor disengages the ego. That's good, isn't it? John Maxwell says that when the audience is laughing with you, it's impossible to not be connected with them. It's impossible to not be connected when the audience is laughing with you. That's a connection, a shared emotional experience. It's powerful. That works very well. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I don't want to use humor. It's bad enough. It's bad enough that you're asking me to stand up and speak, let alone stand up and speak and be funny, let alone stand up and speak, be funny, and try and sell something. It's like the 3 worst things that most people can possibly imagine, isn't it? But it's not that bad, actually. But this is a great way to remember the importance of it. It's by Robert Henry. He said, do I have to be funny? Every fledgling speaker asks this. Do I have to be funny? No, you don't have to be funny. Only if you want to get paid. Do I have to be funny? No, you don't have to be funny. Do you want to get paid? Yeah, well, maybe it's going to help then. And it's still not absolutely essential, but this makes a great point. The best speakers, look at the best speakers they're amusing, they're fun, they're enjoyable to be with. They create this powerful experience for the audience. The audience loves being there and has a great experience while they're learning. That's what we choose very often, isn't it? As adult learners, we it's not school. We have a choice, and we'd rather choose to learn from people that we enjoy learning from. Simple as that, really. So you don't have to be funny, but it really does. If your audience can enjoy themselves while they're learning from you, then your appeal widens significantly. If you're like a die-hard, cram them information down their throats, then there's going to be a lot less people that are going to opt into that. You want them feeling good about themselves and thinking about you, and then coming back and bringing someone with them. And that's much more likely if you can that they can enjoy themselves. Now, we'll come back to humor at another time. We haven't got time for this for now, but that's the first way to connect with your audience. If you can create an enjoyable experience for them using humor, that works very well. Next one is finding common ground. We like people who are like us. We kind of make sense of the world through this, in-group and out-group. It's how we kind of form our identity and decide they're part of us, this is us, and that is them. They're not part of us. So we decide who we're like and who we're not. It's a key part of identity, actually. And so we tend to connect with people who we feel are like us. There's that kind of similarity. So common ground is a great way to say to your audience, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. In fact, Bonnie St. John, the Paralympian, I interviewed her in 2018, I think it was, and she said from stage, the best compliment I get after I speak is, I feel like I know you. When people come up to you afterwards and say, I feel like I know you, then you've connected with them. There's that connection, that rapport. And not just I feel like I know you, but you're just like me. Even better. I feel like I know you and you're just like me. It's a really, really powerful connection then. And you think about it, do they actually know you if you're a speaker? If they listened to one of your programs or read your book or seen you speak on stage, do they actually know you? Well, that depends, doesn't it? It depends what you're putting forwards and what you're actually like in real life. Hopefully, they feel like they're getting to know you, and that is the real you. The two are the same. So it's a great compliment. It's a great test, actually, that you've connected with the audience. I feel like I know you. You're just like me. Because then they're saying to themselves, you can help me because you get me. You get my pain. You get my goals and my dreams. And in fact, this is a great way, actually, to build on that. Common ground. Encourage their dreams in an integrous way. Not you can do anything you want if it's obvious that they're not going to be able to do it, but encourage their dreams. We love people who join us in that and encourage us authentically. To encourage their dreams is a great way to build connection. Seth Godin said that the magical words that everybody wants to be able to say to themselves. So this is, as we're kind of looking out at the world, we want to be able to say to ourselves, I was right all along. That's what he said. If you want people to kind of tune into you, that's what you want to be signaling to them. Not in those words, but in different ways, is you're basically saying you're right all along. You're agreeing with them. You're agreeing with their core beliefs. Why? Because you're saying, I'm just like you. I'm part of your tribe. I'm part of your group. We're us and they're them. So we're this group. And so they want to be able to say to themselves, I was right all along. They're agreeing with what you're saying. Really powerful. So the three best ways to connect: using humor, finding common ground, and then finally, and in fact, this ties in with common ground, be vulnerable. Being prepared to be vulnerable. Why is being vulnerable so powerful? Well, one reason is that being vulnerable is being human. And you talk about common ground. What is not common ground is you standing up pretending to be perfect, not making any mistakes, and feeling like everything comes easily for you. And that, maybe that's the case, I don't know, but that's not going to connect with your audience because they're sitting there thinking, yeah, very impressive, but my life's just not like that. I make mistakes. I mess up. I've done things I'm not proud of. I've done loads of things I'm not proud of. I don't even want to tell you what they are. And so I can see that, for you, Mr. Presenter, it seems like life comes very easy for you. But my life's not like that. You can't help me. I look up to you, but I need to find somebody else to help me, somebody that gets my pain, understands me. So mistakes are great common ground. They really are. Mistakes are great common ground. And so being vulnerable, being prepared to share some of the things that you've done wrong is a great way to connect with your audience. Look at this quote from Larry Wilson. This was one of the first videos on the channel I did where I quoted this Larry Wilson. It's a beauty. It really is. He said, "They'll respect you for your wins, but they'll love you for your failures." They'll respect you for your wins, but they'll love you for your failures. Which of those is a connection and which of those is impressing? Right. So being vulnerable. The audience has almost like an inbuilt need to root for the underdog. If you can stack the odds against the character, normally it's you in one of your stories. If you're the underdog, if the chance of you succeeding, the stakes are high, you're going to lose everything. If it looks like you're the little guy struggling against these forces of antagonism, then the audience gets behind that. So don't be afraid to be the underdog. Share some of your failures. And actually, again, just like, encourage their dreams, excuse their failures, make their failures okay. If you can make it okay that they've made mistakes, and it's not their fault, it's normal. And that's probably the case if you think about it, isn't it? It probably is. I believe there's greatness in you. I really do. Les Brown says that all the time. There's greatness in you. There's something special about you. He makes a point of affirming the audience. And I think it's true. There's greatness in all of us. There's something really wonderful at the core of who we are, all of us. And we can go on and do loads of great things. So it's integrous for me to tell you that, because I believe that for you and I believe that for me. There's greatness in me. There's greatness in you. We haven't even scratched the surface of what we can do. And if you've made mistakes, I think that's why we're here. That's life, isn't it? To kind of to try, and we're going to fail, or we're going to make mistakes, we're going to trip up, but we're going to get up and we're going to carry on and we're going to learn from those mistakes. And so if I can make your mistakes that you may be beating yourself up about okay, it's okay if you tried this before and it hasn't worked. That's normal. You had the wrong information. Now you're going to have some good information. If you try this, you're going to find that it works differently. You haven't had the right encouragement. You haven't had the right peer group. So if you can make their failures okay, again, that's another way of really connecting with them. So make their failures okay. All right then, 3 best ways to connect with your audience. Number 1, use humor. Number 2, find common ground. Number 3, be vulnerable. Simple as that. That's it for this week. If you've enjoyed this video, if it's been useful for you, we'd love it if you'd share it. If you can like it, first of all, on YouTube, and put a comment up so we know what you like and what you don't like. And subscribe to the channel. That would be great. Numbers going up every week. Thank you so much, those of you who've subscribed. Don't forget to click the bell as well so you get notifications of the videos as they're released. And then share it. And simply to share, speaking360.com, if you share that email, that URL with people, they can sign up and get the email every Sunday that you get if you're on the Speaking360 list. So speaking360.com. They can put their email in. They'll get an email with the video every Sunday when they come out. And if you haven't done it, go to speaking360.com and sign up yourself. We'd appreciate that as well. That's it for this week, guys. I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great week next weekend. Take care. Bye-bye. God bless.